Now we can fill this whole hoop with a design. I've actually opened a design here of which comes in your software in the floral section, of some lovely little sunflowers. Now I'm going to actually enlarge this design and rotate it because I'm going to make it as a border feature. So I'll rotate it first. So we need to select it. And you'll notice only part selects. So before you start selecting and rotating, you really need to group the whole design. So we'll use our polygon select. Enter. Now the whole design is selected, and we'll group it. Okay. So if we now left click on that again, we could rotate it with our turning circles, or we can go here to rotate by 45 degrees and then again by 45 degrees, which will give us a nice accurate 90-degree turnaround, which is a quicker way and more accurate way of doing it if you particularly want to get that angle. And now I'm going to zoom out because I want to be able to see the whole hoop. So we'll just right click there and one more time. Okay, so you can see our design is quite tiny compared to the hoop. Just get out of the zooming tool, and I'm going to enlarge that to about that size. Let's see, it'll take a little while because it's got to add all the extra stitches in, but as you can see that fills the width of the hoop now. And if I bring that down, actually I'm going to take that one up to the top. I've got my auto center on, so when I try to move this, it's actually moving it back to the center each time. So what I'm going to do is turn off my auto centering. So if we go to right click on our hoop, here's the automatic centering here. I can just turn that off. That's probably the quickest way of doing it. We have to select manual centering. Sorry about that. So just select manual centering and go OK. Now when I move the design up, it will actually move up in the hoop. I'll just scroll up. Okay, and I'll bring it back down a bit, and it stays where I put it, which is what I want. Okay, so that's within the hoop. It about half fills the hoop. So I'm going to duplicate that, and I can do that by just going up here to copy, or I could go edit, duplicate, and I'm going to paste another copy, and that's pasted on there. And now I'm going to mirror image it vertically. So I now have the other copy there. I can bring that down to the bottom, and I'd like these to be perfectly lined up, so I'm going to use my control button and select the other one. And then I'm going to align right vertical so that the bases, the actual stems here will all finish at the same spot. We'll have a nice lined up vertical there. So we do that, and as you can see that moved across, and we now have the stems all lined up beautifully. Okay, so now we've actually, if I deselect, we've actually filled the whole hoop. We'll now go to the multi-hooping view. No, we won't. We're going to change our hoop back to our normal hoop, because remember that the machine recognizes this hoop as your normal hoop. So when we multi-hoop, we have to multi-hoop with our normal oval hoop. So let's go up to our hoop again, and our drop down menu, and we need the oval 145 by 255. Okay, so here's our hoop, and as you can see it can't cover all the areas, but if we go to our multi-hooping area we'll be able to sort all this out. Now here we can see the whole design, and where our oval hoop is, we can see that the parts of the design that will fit into that hoop are coloured green, and the outside parts are black. That means that they can't be embroidered. And the whole idea of the multi-hooping is that you line your hoops up to cover all the areas so that they're all green. So just move this hoop down. Now it's really important with this, when you're doing it for the multi-hooping, for the hoop it all hoop, that you keep these hoops lined up vertically so that they will actually cover the full length of the hoop, because we're not going to rehoop the fabric into, if we were just using the oval hoop and rehooping the fabric, we could put the hoops anywhere, but because we're using the continuous hoop from the hoop it all, we need to make sure that our hoops are lined up vertically exactly. Now I've moved this one down, as you can see, so that all of this part is green, and so that's the first hooping. Now we need to add another hoop, and so we just use the plus hoop on above it excuse me, and just move this down as well until this part here is green as well. You can see that this, because it becomes oval here, hasn't actually caught that bit, so we need to come down a little bit further and just make sure that your hoops are actually lined up here vertically, and it's not going to quite cover that. So what I'm going to do is move this one down a little bit further and across to the left a little bit, and now you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to do minor adjustments. So if I move that as far across as I can, and now move this one down, I've now got all of that green up to there. And so if I now add another hoop, sorry, they're not aligned very well. You know which hoop you've got selected because it has the little square boxes around it. So if I use my arrow key there, I've got those hoops lined up. I have to go to the left a little bit, so I'll have to bring this hoop to the left a little bit. So select it and move it to the left so that it's lined up. Now we'll grab another hoop, and that's covered everything in green there. Let's see how far we can go vertically, because we want to have to move the hoop as little as possible. Let's see if we can get it all in. No, we can't. We've got to come back down there and across to the right a little bit so that it's lined up. That's grabbed it, and one more hoop. And just bring this one down. Now it doesn't matter that these hoops go longer than the actual hoop it all hoop, because the design won't actually embroider past the area, provided you line up the first one the first hoop in the right position. Everything else will fall into place. Okay, so I've got 4 hoops there covering the whole area. If I fiddled around, I could probably get away with 3, but for this purposes of this video, I'm just going to leave it at that. The next thing to do is to click on this button here, Calculate Hoopings, because although we've split the design into these 4 hoopings, or we will have when we press the button, the problem is that some things need to be embroidered, some areas need to be embroidered before others, some areas are embroidered on top of others, and what the software very cleverly does is sort those out so that it may actually require you to do another hooping in order to hoop them in, to embroider them in the right order. But the end result is that you get a design that looks like it was completely done in one go, unlike some other layouts that other softwares that just split the design, and if you don't line them up exactly, you don't know whether they're going to look like one design or not. Now it's calculated the hooping for me, and it says the current layout of hoop positions will result in 4 hoopings, so it's not requiring us to move the hoop any more times than we have shown here. So that's great. Just click on OK, and now it's time to save your designs.